And now the 419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419. I'm Kevin Mullen alongside
Gretchen DeBacker.
and
Matt Killam.
hey, nailed it.
Very
I
good.
mean, one for
so
one.
So far, so good.
Yeah, off to a great start. Hey, want to start off by a huge thank you, certainly to all of you for joining us on this adventure, but also for our great sponsors and partners. Witro Wealth Management has been with us from day one when this started as a podcast a little over 2 years ago. WorkSpring has been a longtime partner of ours. We'll talk to them later this week as well as we get into our Wellness Wednesdays, which is sponsored by WorkSpring. Toledo Refining Company, an incredible organization that does great work on the east side of the river, but also has decided to cross the Great Divide to come join us on this as well. And of course, Tarda is another great sponsor and partner on the show as well.
Yep.
Traverses the whole area, right, connecting all these things. I mean, the hyperbole is without bound, but certainly exciting for us. And we made friends along the way with all these people, and the region is certainly better by all their individual leadership.
And January feels like the right time to start something new.
It does.
I mean, it's like we're like out of that holiday.
We don't know what day it
haze.
is.
Right. I said this is like the first week that you really have to you have to know what day it is.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I've made just a terrible parenting mistake. In order to buy my children's love, I bought a bearded dragon.
Aren't there other things you could have bought?
A million things.
Like a doll?
Wait. I have.
In many ways, this is like a doll.
Can you buy a bearded dragon at a store? Or is that like a black market? Like it feels like something you have to buy off the black market.
Like you bought something out of someone's trunk.
The old show, I could talk about where I bought it.
Okay.
But the new show, based on FCC
WGTE has rules.
That's right.
Right.
I bought it at a store that was linked to a Chipotle.
Is it an actual beard?
My daughter provides the beard. And I looked into this in no way, and the amount of crickets this consumes. Actually, what I should say is I'm now the owner of a cricket farm in my house. So
Do you go out and catch the crickets?
I will when spring comes. Yeah.
Cricket
Do you have
harvester?
to feed live crickets? Is it picky?
To be determined. Right now, it seems to be a pretty open to anything, but it eats 60 crickets a day.
No, it does not.
Yeah, that's right.
That is not a real number.
That's right.
Where
I
do
wish
you-
that was
That's
true.
a lot of protein.
Where do you? We're going to spend entirely too much time on that. Where do you find 60 crickets?
Well, they're really.
Did you ever think you'd be asked that question?
This was just a terrible idea, and it's just a little bit of a window into what kind of parent I am. It would be better if my daughter was in charge of research and development.
yeah.
I guess development is generous,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So my daughter wanted a cat
sure.
years ago, and
How many crickets do
we
they eat?
told yeah, I don't
Less.
yeah fewer than
Fewer.
60. I know
Right.
that. We told her that if she eats vegetables every day for a
Scam.
month,
Scam.
she gets a cat.
Okay.
Well, joke's on me. She's now a vegetarian, and so she's
you
like,
have a
well,
cat.
yeah, and then we have a cat.
What's the cat's name?
Eliza is the official name.
It has changed.
No, we refer to her as BK, and I can't on the old show. I could have said what that means.
Sure,
Okay.
got it. Okay.
But
Yeah.
What's the
She's
dragon's
not
name?
a
The
pleasant.
dragon has changed names many, many, many times. It was Shonda at first.
Shonda.
Yep. Then it was Summer. Summer Lilac Killam. Killam is our last name. My daughter's not a sociopath. Or to be determined.
She's killing a lot of crickets every day. I
And
don't
now
know.
it's Mira, which of course is a nod to the popular movie Dragon.
No,
Dream
unaware.
Yeah,
Unaware.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, demon.
That's the one.
Demon.
Yeah, you know it.
Does she
hunter,
name
dragon
each of the
slayer.
crickets before she sends them to their death? Or they
No,
just.
she does not handle the crickets at all. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like she would be excited. Did you like put it in a box with like the holes in it and like the opening it up kind of situation?
We got the whole thing, put it in a room, walked her up, and I immediately know that I had made a mistake. And, you know, again, I didn't realize I would be so needy of them, meaning my kids and the crickets. I'd like them to think a lot of me as I'm shoveling them into this dinosaur's mouth.
So More
Oh, God.
great content like this coming up. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will talk to
The bearded dragon.
the
Live.
dragon.
Shonda is
it
here.
will be, I bet we're going to talk to somebody that eats fewer than 60 crickets a day.
We'll see.
We'll be right back with Adam Levine from the Toledo Museum of Art. It's the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Witro Wealth Management. We'll be right back.
To me, community means connecting to others.
What will it really take to bring peace to Toledo's neighborhoods?
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
It's all chapters in a book.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the Old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Brings back memories that you don't think are there, you know.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
The people of Toledo have really become family. You know, they walk in and it's just like, hey, it's so good to see you.
Hello there and welcome to a WGTE Public Media Town Hall meeting.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
I love PBS Kids.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management. We are joined now by Adam Levine from Toledo Museum of Art. Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Gretchen, what is Adam's actual title?
Adam's actual title is the Edward Drummond and Florence Scott Libby President and CEO.
Is all of that on your business card?
It absolutely is.
It is, in fact, it is the named title for the director, so I take it. And
Yeah.
who better to be named after than
That's
Edward
right.
Drummond and Florence Scott Libby?
Than the founders of the museum. So
That's
thank you so much for being here. There's so much going on at the Toledo Museum of Art right now. I wanted to start with, if we could, the jewelry exhibit, because it's about to close.
Yes.
And I think it's around until January 18th, so you could tell us a little bit about that and what people can catch before it heads out.
I can. I do just want to break some news, as I told you I would in the break, which is that I grew up with bearded dragons.
You did not.
Yeah, because
They raised you?
How did you know? Yes, I am a cricket. I'm a cricket that got away.
Yeah.
So born and raised in New York City, we were not allowed to have dogs. Eating vegetables straight was not going to be an option for a dog or a cat. So my brother and I each had bearded dragons, and your daughter is in for an incredible ride. They've got great personality, and wait till they start eating Pinkies, little mice. That's when you really get excited.
Oh,
but should we talk about jewelry?
Eating mice in New York is also a good thing, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you where we got the bearded dragons either, similar to Matt, right? It's just, they appeared.
Where did you get the crickets?
You get them from a pet store.
Okay.
But you will end up with crickets that escape, and it will be like you're in the metro parks in your home all the time. It'll be really
It'll be
lovely.
a soothing, like a sound bath at night.
I'm
to be the
I'm
crickets.
convinced that this was part of Dave Zank's retention strategy
It probably
for
is.
Matt Killam.
Yeah, he has actually asked me to go hunt crickets in other countries. And he said, man, I don't want you to think of your job having borders. Or having a job.
Now
Right.
that's a supportive boss.
How long do they last? How long do the bearded dragons live for?
So a long time,
long time.
and I know I'm here to talk about the museum.
Sure.
I could go on at
Okay.
length about Spike. My brother's was named Comet.
Spike and Comet.
But they live for almost 12 years.
Oh my goodness.
12,
Matt, you made a bad decision.
calendar years?
Yeah, lizard years. I don't actually know how they compute. But 12
Lizard years seem
almost
longer.
12
Yeah.
human years.
Well, I can tell you how it computes. It's not going to be 12 years.
Listen, we were knocking
Maybe
on the
they're
door.
going to run away.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to go to the farm where my beloved chief, my golden retriever, went.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So thank you for having me. Obviously, lots we could talk about, but to answer the question, Radiance and Reverie, jewels from the collection of Neil Lane is up through January 18th, and it is it's one of those shows that we decided to work on to expose our audience to something that we normally don't expose our audience to, which is jewelry as a fine art. As we put the show together with this remarkable private collection that Neil Lane has amassed over the decades, we sort of stumbled into the fact that, strangely, given how incredible these objects are as artworks, this is the most comprehensive survey of jewelry that an American museum has ever done. While you could walk into Classic Court at the Toledo Museum of Art, expect to see Hellenistic jewelry or Roman jewelry, It is a peculiar fact that there's only one curator in the United States that has a named endowed position, like sort of my directorship title, in jewelry at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and she's one of the co-curators of this exhibition. So most jewelry shows are shows of single houses, Cartier, Tiffany.
Right.
This is an exhibition of jewelry between 1850 and 1950 with lots of makers that is slightly biographical in that it's telling the story of Neil's life and how he collected these things through important locations in his life, New York, Los Angeles, and Paris. But those were also the centers of jewelry making and jewelry wearing. So it really became this rather comprehensive show, which I think is also a significant contribution to art history. And that's really what we try to do with these shows, is thread the needle.
It's a beautiful exhibition. It's at the Glass Pavilion.
It is.
And it's a particularly good gift shop.
Thank you
There's excellent jewelry that people can buy at the gift shop at the Glass Pavilion. But it's a wonderful exhibit. So I would encourage people to go.
Where does this start, right? Like how do you get to? I mean, you say that it's this incredible kind of offering of a lot of different, but like where does the idea of like what we should do is this?
Sure.
And then like once that idea comes up, like you got a guy that you're like, hey, I need all the jewelry in
what's
America.
his
Let's go.
dragon's name?
Neil.
Neil.
So thank you for commenting on the design, which I really do think is exquisite.
So
And I think the nature, if you've been to a lot of our exhibitions over the past few years, you'll notice everyone feels different, and that's an intentional choice. So Kevin, to answer your question, we are, I say this a lot, not-for-profit doesn't mean for loss. And, all of us have worked for government, nonprofits. We don't want to necessarily in that sector work for a culture that feels corporate. That's different than having best business practice.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed an exhibition strategy. And our exhibition strategy reflects our overall strategy, which is to expose Toledo to the world through art. So to integrate art into the lives of people, we believe that art needs to reflect the world. So we, every 5 years, on a rolling 5-year average, have exhibitions that cover every geography, every chronology, and every medium. So we are planning our exhibitions looking out 5 years. So we're into 2031, right? And we're actually starting to think about anchor properties in 2032 and 2033. So that's how we think about the distribution of things we do. But then I'd also say we made the concerted effort early in the strategy to move from an exhibition, or from a museum that takes exhibitions other people have organized. So there are people you can call, the American Federation for the Arts, the International Art and Artists, organizations that tour high quality exhibitions. We decided we wanted to generate our own intellectual property and travel those exhibitions ourselves.
When you think of, there's multiple rungs in an organizational chart, but Adam, when you think of your peers or where is your check-in? How do you spend a couple hours just sort of exploring the space that you oversee? I mean, are there people that you see as colleagues, mentors? Like, what is your pulling out of the day-to-day, which is a healthy way for someone in your position to do? Like, where do you look? Where do you seek counsel?
Yeah. So I in my particular case, I spend a lot of time engaging with our senior leadership and leadership team within the organization, or I say maybe sort of looking down the org chart. And it, almost 6 years into the role, it takes time, but I feel so good about the team we have. Really, I think it is as good a team as you will find anywhere in the country. And that's an incredible privilege. It also allows me to trust them and get out of the business. So work on the business, not in the business, as they say. But I spend a lot of time engaging the board. And we think a lot about making sure that our board doesn't just reflect our community, but also reflects the types of expertise that we need to run a 21st century organization. So our current chair is Mike Thaman. Our vice chair is Susan Palmer. Mike was the former CEO of Owens Corning. Susan has been the board president of almost every organization in this community, has been involved with everything, has a fundraising background, couldn't be more different in the way they think, and couldn't be more valuable in their independent ways, right? So that's just one example, right? We have an incredible board. You can look them up online, but we think about complementarity, and we actually vet candidates using this multidimensional matrix that includes expertise exactly for that reason. So when I have a question about AI, I could pick up the phone and call someone. When I have a question about marketing, I could pick up the phone and call someone. And even if they don't know the answer, they can refer me to someone who will. So leveraging their networks has also been really important. And then last but not least, obviously there are sort of lateral benchmarking that we do to other organizations, but I'm sort of particularly interested in benchmarking in adjacent industries, not because I'm not really enamored by some of the things my peers are doing, but because sometimes you have to puncture your bubble, right? You all speak the same language in certain sectors, higher ed, sort of parks, and you want to see what are organizations that are thinking about customer experience doing, right? We're all in that business, right? So I spend my time thinking about, okay, what's happening? I'll read and I'll just follow up, cold call people and say, hey, really interested in this thing I read you're doing. Can we talk about it?
Where do you go to, and I'll close with this from my end of it. Is there something when you roll out of bed, what's the first thing you look at in your phone? If I've texted.
Yeah, no,
after you see if we
course.
connected.
Well, first I look and see what the going rate is for Bearded Dragons.
Yeah.
And then what the market price for a Bearded
Find
Dragon
out there
is.
isn't one.
Yeah. Well, don't spoil it.
So honestly, the first thing I look at is email. Probably not the healthiest habit, but but it is, as we have sort of expanded our international footprint, the reality is we're like between text, WhatsApp, and email, there's inbound all hours, so there is always stuff to clean up. And I'm going by 5 a.m. usually every day. And part
a lot of your clients use WhatsApp.
That's right, they do.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is great, I have to say, right? Telegram, right? You're moving into a different territory, but WhatsApp is great. But the first thing I read, I have a pretty, my diet every morning is the New York Times, this incredible blog called International Intrigue, written by former diplomats and intelligence officials about what's going on in the world from their perspective. Quartz, which covers business, Hustle, which covers sort of what's happening in Silicon Valley. And then when I say the Times, it's Dealbook, The Morning, it's a bunch of their newsletters. And I think that's mostly, and then opinion pages in The Blade.
Do you do the New York Times games?
I do not. I know it's terrible. It's been such an important part of their model and their pivot. It's actually something I think about a lot for sort of the museum, because we're kind of publishers. We just publish experiences.
That's a fascinating way to articulate that.
But the way they've used games in ways that actually bolster brand rather than detract from it, and have used it as a revenue stream for their digital pivot, I think is super smart. But no, I don't. I mean, I got into Wordle for like a second when it was like new. But it's not a sustained practice.
So.
You can?
No, I can't. I can't.
Really? I was in on Wordle.
Yeah.
And I had I think it was like a 200-day streak of winning every day.
Winning.
And then didn't play. We're on vacation.
Yeah.
Didn't play one day, and the streak went back to 0.
What?
And I have not played.
Because you got mad?
I was like, what do you mean it went to 0? Like,
well, that's the definition of a
streak.
streak.
I'm still 200-0. I didn't have a game that day,
it's
right? I didn't load the app.
Oh, it's like Duolingo, though. If you try to learn,
It's
you
a
miss
super
one
interesting
day,
point.
they send you passive aggressive.
That's very generous.
Right.
No.
It's super interesting.
No, it is because I was going to bring up Duolingo as well, because Duolingo
This is the best morning of my life.
Yeah.
Listen, Duolingo is in some ways actually closer to like the museum experience because they've gamified learning.
Yes.
Whereas Wordle is, arguably a type of learning, right? But it's sort of gamified intellectual exertion, right? But there are lots of Fortnite's that too. But Duolingo, you're learning a language. So this is actually a really interesting point that the streak is an important part of getting sticky behavior.
Yes.
Until you've invested a lot and you break the streak, and then there could be some like a psychological barrier to overcome. I never thought about that.
And Duolingo actually gets mad at you.
If they would have given me I don't spend money on games like on my phone. I won't do it. But if they had told me for $2.99 I can maintain my streak, I probably would have paid it. I probably would have paid it to keep going at that point because I put so much into it.
Or give you an option to pause or say like, hey, you missed a day,
There's a
you haven't
vacation.
missed a day. Is there a reason, right? You get a mulligan.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, to bring this all together, there's a guy named Andrew Goldstein, who was the editor-in-chief of ArtNet, but now does a lot of consulting for art and tech intersections, thinking about the future of interpretation. So I brought him to our last board meeting to present to our board on where he views museum interpretation going in the next 5 years. And he spoke about Duolingo as an interesting sort of example, and whether he's right or wrong. And I clearly brought him because I think there's a lot of merit to the way that he thinks.
Right.
Those are the types of ways that I choose to benchmark.
A bit of an intersection from what my day job is. We are sort of pushing back against what I would describe as sort of park purists, because screens are sort of considered like the antichrist of what we do. Right outside is to be away from screens and such things. But if we don't gamify that experience, right, or provide incremental cookies or
the option.
That's right. So the difference between classic interpretation or dropping a augmented reality Bigfoot footprint as you pull a kid through the Oak Openings region, from my standpoint, I don't care why you're outside. It isn't up to me to look down my nose at how you're there or how you aren't. I just want to get you where you're at.
So I think with two caveats. So one, I clearly agree, except to say that the first thing is, whenever someone tells you, I think generally speaking, it's binary, they're wrong, right? So the question isn't screen or no screen. The question is, how do you use the screen?
That's my point.
And then the secondary point is, I can't speak for the Metro Parks, but for the museum, we will use screens, we will use programs that are not connected to art at all, as long as there is something that then connects people to the next rung of the ladder.
That's right.
It's about the conversion rate from that thing, moving people down a funnel to actually engaging with nature, actually engaging with art. So our screen-based experiences are in the service of leading you to a non-screen-based experience. So if you need to use a screen at some point in your life to learn about Monet's water lilies, right? No one should judge someone for that. But we of course want someone to have an unmediated experience just standing in front of Monet's water lilies, thinking that it's remarkable, because that's the power of art in its fullest. And meeting people where they are through screens to pull them through, I think, is an effective way to think about screen use. Thinking about screens as a destination in and of themselves, I think, is way less effective.
There's a treehouse village in Swan built to create exactly that, right? To immerse someone in the Oak Openings region, which is messaging that's been tried to be delivered for over 100+ years. But if you have that experience, you'll be somewhat duped into caring about that space, right? And
it's an incredible village.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, you mentioned AI. I do want to talk about AI a little bit and how the museum, because I think of the museum as a museum in an old sense, and I don't think about the innovation and all that goes into it. And I know obviously when I think about you and your leadership, I think more about that. But we'll talk about that. I also want to dive in and get just a little bit, know a little bit more about Adam Levine.
Oh, not me at all.
Okay, all right.
We know enough.
Yeah, woof.
Enough to be scared.
We'll be right back. It's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com. And from WorkSpring, supporting healthy and vibrant businesses, one workplace at a time. More information at workspring.org. Join us every Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday, sponsored by WorkSpring. The 419 is also sponsored by Toledo Refining Company, serving Northwest Ohio and East Toledo for over 125 years. More information at ToledoRefiningCompany.com. And TARDA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at TARDA.com. Tune in every Thursday for the Toledo.com community calendar presented by TARDA. Interested in supporting the 419 and other great local programming at WGTE? Visit WGTE.org.
Welcome back in to the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management. We're talking with Adam Levine. He is the Edward Drummond and Florence Scott Libby president and CEO and chief bottle washer of Chief Bearded Dragon Watcher.
Absolutely.
Of the Toledo Museum of Art. We talked. You mentioned AI, and it just triggered for me because, as I said before the break, when I think about a museum, it's hard for me not to think about how long it's been in place and to sort of almost think of it as like a pause button on history, and not think about it as a space of innovation. But I'm curious, how you want to fight me on that sentence. but also approach technology and AI and embrace some of those kind of latest things that are coming up?
Sure. Well, look, I think a few things. One is we started by talking about not just an exhibition that we have up, but the incredible store associated with it. Museums didn't have stores till like 40 years ago. Right? Museums were not, like that was not part of the model, right? Temporary exhibitions were not really part of the model until after World War II. Now, bear in mind, right, the Toledo Museum of Art is founded in 1901. The Kunstmuseum in Basel is founded in 1664, right? So, I mean, they've been around for a while. So museums are always changing, right? And they're always doing their best to keep up with the times. I would say, generally speaking, though, we lag, which, Kevin, to your question, is really very peculiar because if you think about it, we're monuments to creativity. We're monuments to innovation, right? Every artist is doing something innovative in a style, with a medium, et cetera. So we don't take the risks of the people we celebrate as institutions, which is like a peculiar disconnect. And there's some good reasons for that. We're highly trusted, right? So for that reason, we're more risk averse. But I would also argue, what's the point of banking political capital if you're never gonna cash it in to try and help the community, to help the institution? So, you know, vis-a-vis AI, you know, I think there are a few different ways to think about that. The artistic side of the ledger, artists who are engaging with AI, and you saw that recently in the exhibition Infinite Images, The Art of Algorithms, and in our digital artist residency, which is sort of modeled after our glass residency, but it's sort of a first of its kind, inviting a digital artist in to engage with the community, but also to create work in response to our collection. You could think about it in terms of sort of the visitor experience, and I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about that, right? And then you could talk about it in terms of sort of like the workflows of the museum, like anyone is talking about across any organization. So we've given a lot of thought to all of those things and have developed what I think is a really, really good second draft policy that will guide our use. Our first draft was like very vanilla. But it was important to get something in place as sort of at that point ChatGPT took over the world. Obviously we have some options, but we think about it across those three verticals, and I would say probably the place we are making our biggest bet is going to be around the visitor experience.
And you're in undertaking that as we speak, and people may have seen this in the media. Certainly if they've visited the museum, they see that in person. Yep. But you and your board and your team are undertaking a reimagining of all of the galleries, which hasn't really been done in 40 years.
In 40 years.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing this holistic in 40 years.
So in addition to just improving the bathrooms and the lighting and accessibility and those kinds of things, you're really reorganizing the presentation of the entire museum.
We are. So, and this is where visitor experience and the bathrooms and seating, they all fit in, because if all we did was rearrange the art, we would have failed this community. Rearranging the art is important, and we'll come to why that is in a second, but actually the mission, as I said in the first segment, is to integrate art into the lives of people. So the art is part of that. The people are also part of it. And the act of integration requires an experience that makes art central to the way a Toledoan, a Northwest Ohioan, lives. That's what we're hoping to achieve. So I think the first thing to say, because I've said it in a number of different settings, but can never say it enough, right? Repeat, 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 is one of the reasons we are doing this now, which is different than whether it should be done, and I'll come to that in a second, but one of the reasons we're doing this now is because our heating and cooling system is at the end of its useful life. Right? There is no collection if we can't keep temperature and humidity controls. This is not why.
That's why we have Gretchen sat here. She is just at the tail end of her usefulness. Your words.
Right. My words.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I've gotten to know Gretchen over the past 13 years I've been here, 14 years almost. Not true.
Okay. Well,
thank you, Adam.
You on the other hand?
Yeah.
Questionable.
Right. That's fair. That's the kindest thing you've ever said.
This is not why one becomes a museum director, but the fact is all the HVAC air handlers need to be replaced at some point in the next couple of years, and it makes sense to synchronize those replacements as fully as possible. It minimizes disruption and it minimizes expense. So the building is structured, the Beaux-Arts building is structured in 9 different zones across sort of the gallery floor and sort of the education wing. And each air handler will be taken offline, and then a new air handler will be installed or parts will be rebuilt if we can extend the life of some of the air handlers, which we are doing in 2 cases. And we're going to do that in phases. So what people are experiencing now is they're experiencing phased closures in conjunction with taking those air handlers offline.
Huge project.
Huge project.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all public information. You could look it up. But we took out $20 million of debt through the Port Authority just because the cash goes out the door all at once. We'll fund it through a capital campaign. So before I get out of bed every day, right, we have to pay back that debt to replace the heating and cooling system because that's table stakes. So everyone also needs to remember in our community that there was no way every gallery in the museum wasn't going to close and then reopen by 2027. So given that, it makes sense when the galleries are closed anyway to look at things like, does colonial American painting make sense next to Southeast Asian archaeology?
And Kevin says yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've stopped listening. And I have not listened for some time.
Well, let's just say it made sense why we did it, because we had a growing collection. We had a great curator of Asian art, Carolyn Putney. We had a growing collection in that area. We wanted to give it a dedicated space. And the old members' lounge, the space that is at the westernmost part of the building, and the northwesternmost part of the building, made sense. It was available. Totally rational, reasonable ad hoc decision. At the other end of the building, contemporary art. Created a gallery in the old glass gallery adjacent to Classic Court. Totally reasonable, rational, marginal decision. If you could design it from scratch, which like Moore Godwin did in the 1930s, you wouldn't do that. The original design of the museum was largely chronological, to walk people through history to get a sense of how styles developed. So that's how we landed on what we're doing.
The thing that's so interesting is, first of all, you say, well, we're already shut down, so we might as well just do this little thing. It's not a little thing.
No.
It's a huge thing, and it's a very unique and inspiring thing. If you go to museums around the world, one of my most favorite things to do is you go from gallery to gallery. You go from French Impressionists to British Masters to, they're all segregated in that way, based on the categories that have been set forever. And so the focus on the reorganization will be that African art and the Byzantine art and whatever, French, it's not the geography that controls, but in fact the timeline?
Correct.
Okay.
So can you talk a little bit about what timeline means to you in this sense?
Sure. So we are installing the museum chronologically. And we will be the most comprehensive such installation in the United States, and really the only installation that is similar in the world that covers 6,000 years of human history and 6 continents is the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. One of the things we will do differently than the Louvre in Abu Dhabi is, if you think about our building, there is a north-south axis and there is an east-west axis. The east-west axis runs along Monroe, the long axis. That will be your chronological axis. So you'll move through time as you move from Classic Court at the east end through to what is currently called the Levis Gallery, but will become our contemporary art gallery. Then that north-south axis will be used, you could think of it as geography, but I actually think it's better to think of it as connectivity. So in the ancient world, the world was connected, but it wasn't connected directly. It was connected by overland trade routes. And then those trade routes got formalized in the medieval period, and then tall mast ships, first in China, then in Europe, in the early modern period, connected the world for the first time. But it wasn't instantaneous. There was a lot of latency. It took 2.5 years to circumnavigate the globe, right? And then telecoms, right, and transportation technology accelerate the rate of connectivity, so that by the time when you're at the East Wing, right, you'll see, you'll have your Gallery of Ancient Mediterranean next to your Gallery of Southeast Asian Archaeology, because that's how far Alexander the Great made it. Alexander the Great made it to India and Pakistan. When you get to the Contemporary Gallery, you'll have a Greek artist next to an Indian artist because they're following each other on Instagram.
That's right.
Right, so you'll get an embodied sense of how the world has been connected, and we think that that's actually a very important thing for any audience to understand, the nature of how we've been connected as a function of time. So time here means the past 6,000 years, which if you were to think about it from like an art historical perspective, there are prehistoric examples of art, which is to say before the advent of writing, but most museums cover art from the advent of writing. Writing is correlated with administrative needs. Administrative needs is correlated with enough people in an area that you need sort of an administrative function, and which is to say cities. And when people are more sedentary, there's more wealth usually and more stratification of society, and then surplus wealth tends to be put into adornment manufacture or adornment artistic manufacture. So most museums begin their collections at 3500 BC, 4000 BC. Obviously some go much earlier. There are examples of artwork from way before that, but not in any density. So that's where most museums begin their collection. That's where we do.
This is too sophisticated a question potentially for me to even ask, but in terms of your leadership or vision of the Toledo Museum of Art, how do you manage it conceptually? I mean, you've talked about heating and air conditioning in this conversation. You've talked about reconfiguring or rethinking that space. When you think about the management of the museum, how do you think of time? The audience today, the people who live in Toledo, the world as it is today, how does Adam Levine navigate time and space in the current leadership that you oversee?
Yeah, look, that's a super interesting question. You know, I think
Did you hear that?
I'm gonna mark it down.
Yeah. So I think the thing that I think most about, I'll keep this as short as I can. The thing that I think most about is how you live the culture of a place. And there are things that I think it's important everyone realize that the Toledo Museum of Art should do that other museums shouldn't do because of the nature of this place. So our strategic vision, right, the vision of our strategy is to become the model museum in this country for our commitment to quality and our culture of belonging. This idea of quality and community, those are like the bedrock strands of Toledo, the Toledo Museum of Art's DNA. They always have been. The objectives and the programs and the projects that support that are given a 21st century flair. Edward Drummond Libby was not thinking about artificial intelligence. He was thinking a lot about automation, right? But he was not thinking about artificial intelligence. So, you know, you adapt to the times, but you have to be consistent with the DNA of a place. So why do I bring that up? So when the museum opened at its full extent in 1933, the Beaux-Arts building opened its full extent in 1933, only 40% of its gallery square footage was being used. The other 60% was intentionally overbuilt and left unfinished for future expansion within the walls. If you tried to do that today, most boards would say, why are you spending that much money?
What are you doing?
It took 84 years till 2017 to finish the last of those galleries. By my sort of imprecise, but I think ballpark math, the museum saved about $120 million in real money and not having to, and today's money not having to expand. So I think a lot about what I can do that every future museum director for generations will thank me for. So the timeline on which we're thinking is 40 to 50 years.
That's fascinating to me.
It is.
Adam Levine, the Edward Drummond Florence Scott Libby president.
Bearded Dragon enthusiast, your words.
Of the museum. All right, it's time for the 419 quiz. Which the actual name is Gretchen's Crazy Quiz. She hates it.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to throw 4 rapid fire questions at you.
Yes.
What's your favorite quote about life?
Oh boy.
The worst advice is advice.
If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy?
I would give it all to the endowment of the Toledo Museum of Art.
God, you're good.
That's a lie.
I'd give most of it.
What's the most impressive thing that you know how to do?
It's not the most impressive thing, but it's the thing that surprises people most. I was a Golden Gloves boxer.
I did not know that.
So boxing.
If you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
Anything but Adam Levine.
Are you a fan of Maroon 5?
Of course. I mean, obviously Adam Levine has made some decisions,
That's right.
But I think the music is catchy.
Yes.
There are worse people with whom to share a name.
That's right.
Thank you.
When I mentioned to my family that one of our first guest of the new year was Adam Levine, they were like, "How'd you pull that off?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, he works at the Toledo Museum of Art."
We just emailed him. And he showed up.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
I tried to crash his New Year's party.
Right.
Adam, thank you so much.
We're obviously going to have you back.
Would love to
More
be
to
back.
talk about. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and thank you as well, I guess on behalf of, or I guess thank you for Rhonda, right? I mean, delivered
Yes.
a beautiful
Yes.
gift to us for the set, and so we certainly appreciate that. So thank
The least that we could do.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right,
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more of the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management, and we'll have the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Witro, with us on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and veteran journalist Jerry Anderson. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management. And I cannot say thank you enough. We're joined now by Tim Witro, fittingly from Witro Wealth Management.
How'd you come up with the name?
I know. I think it came from my father. I think.
We were just spitballing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just call it Witro.
That's right.
I will say, I through my entrepreneurship journey, I have come up with several different names for different companies over the years.
And at one point it was Witro also?
I also thought about
People
Witro.
throw that around.
Yeah, it just didn't
There's a
fit.
name
But
fight.
I finally, with my latest company, just said I'm done getting creative. I'm just going to use my name.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to, because everybody always wants to know the story.
Sure.
Oh, where'd you come up with that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just came up
My
with it.
mom came up with it.
Yeah, exactly. I
We've
got it from my
We've
dad.
gone through the same process
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
but we ended up with Witro Wealth Management at the end. So yeah.
What is Witro Wealth Management if somebody's not familiar with it?
We're an investment planning firm. We do a lot of planning for retirement. I'm a certified financial planner. We like to meet with our clients and have discussions as far as what's your hopes, your dreams, and we think we are different. We like to work with our clients and just have them come in. And people say, what happens when they first come in? I go, well, just come in and talk to us. You know, we want to get to know you. That's
I
what
mean,
separates us.
you've been a sponsor of the podcast from day one. Now we've got this sort of new journey.
Congratulations,
and
by
partnership.
the way.
Thank
too.
you.
I think it's,
With WGTE. Explain to me how these things fit, right? Wealth management, kind of legacy planning and building, and a daily talk show meeting people in and around our region.
I think it's just supporting people in the area. And we talked originally when we were first talking about your podcast, and it's just giving back. And if we can help, and I'll tell you, just listening to Adam,
Yeah.
it answered all my questions. As far as, yes.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that we're helping you guys. I learned so much, and I know there's going to be more of it. So I'm excited.
I will tell you how we met was when we were hosting episodically a radio show, and in full candor, your world is a complicated one, and it can be scary, and information
Yes.
is at best, I mean by definition, up and down, right? But it was very easy to talk to you, and the information is relatable, and there was absolutely an immediate trust. I was like, there's a human being on the other side of this telephone, or on the other side of this data, right?
Yeah, I'm a little old school. I like to pick up the phone and call people.
Sure.
A lot of people say, well, just call the 800. No, just call me. You can send an email, but I always say call. It's easier to talk to someone because so many people will read an email and interpret it 2 or 3 different ways. It's easier to talk to somebody, and a lot of people don't want to email, but they're forced to do it or make appointments online, and we're a little old school. We want to meet with you face to face, and it seems to work.
I'm going to tee Matt up a little bit here because we talk about the Metro Parks, and when I hear Matt and his boss Dave talk about the Metro Parks, they talk about part of how you can define quality customer service starts with the bathrooms. and I'm going to tee Matt up for a story here that he's got some experience with the customer service of Witro, and
Yes. If my daughter was 13, I would not be telling the story, but she's 6, so I think I can. That we were in a very relatable experience. We had to use the bathroom, and we happened to be in the same building as Witro Wealth Management. And I was like, this is probably the last option we've got. So we, to some degree, burst into your office, and I was anxious, and my daughter was clearly also, I'm sure, visibly. And your team did not care what I was saying as to who we are or our relationship. They just wanted to help. And people came out to see if there was something, something more needed. Yes. Yeah, they're like, should this person be a parent?
The answer is no.
That the phone calls that we had from a radio show to the admin staff or your support team or the team in general was evident that they cared about us immediately. And then we couldn't get out of there without cookies or some other thing. So
yeah, we seem to have cookies a lot.
Yes,
cookies and candy.
Another reason to go by the office.
Chocolates.
Yeah, that's right. So again, like Kevin said, I appreciate the fact, but you're not just on the other end of a line or the other end of following market data.
Right.
You are an avid runner. You're an avid participant. Tell me what a week looks like participating in our region for you.
Oh, land. I love your parks, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about
All of
restrooms,
our
yes,
parks.
great.
Yeah, sure.
So, but I love the area in Toledo and the surrounding area. I utilize 4 or 5 of the parks on a regular basis. I was just running at Side Cut this weekend.
Yeah.
So
it was up to your standards? Everything would look fine?
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah, that's a great team out there.
I love it. And I joined Dave's MIT because I'm training for the marathon in April.
All right.
So
first marathon?
No, this will be my 5th.
That's right. Okay.
So I did the Garmin back in September, I believe it was. So we'll just start training again and take the Glass City.
Well, we'll come get your cookies.
Where do you set for a marathon? I mean, are you setting time-based goals? Is it like, finish, right? What is the, how do you do that?
Usually I'm time-based, or I set so much per mile. What's my time on that mile? But it's usually time-based of where I want to be. And they age group you too, so that's good. I don't have to go, well, I'm trying to beat the guy that's winning. That's not going to happen. But I enjoy running and biking and swimming, and it's just a way for me to just forget about things.
Sure.
Of course, I'm always thinking when I'm running and things and biking, but
me too, about heart failure.
Well,
so
I try to put that to the side.
Right,
but you think a little bit about work, a little about all kinds of things, but it helps me relax.
Yeah.
So I try to get out at least 4 or 5 times a week, doing something. And with this cold, yes, I have a treadmill.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a bike that I call hooking it up to the machine, and I have my little avatar on the TV, and then I bike with people.
See, I tried to do that. There was a stretch when I was like biking. Literally, I'd wake up at 5 in the morning, bike 20 miles, and then continue my day. And then it got cold, and so I bought the trainer and hooked my bike up to that. And
well, don't listen to Kevin. By cold, he said it just turned to 70 degrees, and it was just an excuse to stop doing it.
That's also true.
It wasn't the winter.
Yeah. I had to play Wordle that morning.
Oh, it looks windy outside.
It's spring.
How did you get into this line of work? How did you end up here in financial services, wealth management?
I think it kind of found me. I started out with in the insurance business, and I kind of morphed. And I was working for one company, and I realized that I couldn't take care of everything for my clients that way. So I kind of morphed into more of the planning, to the CFP, Certified Financial Planning Designation, and I thought, well, I'd rather be independent. Because I want to work for my clients. I want to represent them. I'm a fiduciary. I work for you. So it just kept going.
Was there an aha moment that your first client, first person, the first retirement that you were able to deliver? Do you have something that is in sort of your journal as this feels right and feels good?
Oh, I love helping people get retired. I've even talked to clients. I go, sometimes I feel like I'm more excited than they are.
Yep, right.
But it's rewarding.
Yeah, I bet.
And when someone comes to us and is working with us, and we lay things out and we do a plan for them, and if they want to retire early, and we look across the table and say, yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you can. And if not, we'll say, might not be the best time, maybe if we go here.
Sure.
But again, we like to show things and work with our clients. But it is super rewarding.
Yeah.
What do you say to someone that it's not set up, that doesn't have anything, they have this worry about their retirement? What are they going to do? Are they going to be able to live? Are they ever going to be able to retire?
Let's say their name is Matt.
Let's say their name is Matt. Kill him. What's like the thing this year? We're at the beginning of the year. What's the thing that they can do to alleviate some of that worry and get started on the retirement path?
Come in
A
your
lot,
office.
right. Well, come in, yeah, of course, come in and talk to us. But
Right.
usually people are not as bad as what they're thinking. And once you lay it all out and go, and people do worry.
Sure.
And once
yeah.
I lay things out and look at the picture, and it's not that bad.
I think that's really great advice. They are, and I'm guilty of this too. Like if there's something you're anxious about or fearful of based on not knowing, you
Hit it
can
head on.
avoid it.
It's
right?
easier just to think about it for 17 years than to.
That's right. Or 47.
Really is just a
47 years.
panic.
And that's
Yeah.
my mantra in the office is if there's something going on, we want to tackle it head on.
Sure.
I don't want to put it off. We want to take care of it right now
Yeah.
and solve issues or solve problems with clients.
Put a plan in place.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
He's Tim Witro with Witro Wealth Management. All right, Tim, buckle up.
Oh no.
It's time.
There's no way you could have planned for this, buddy.
419 quiz.
You're gonna keep jumping in. It's time for Gretchen's crazy quiz.
Wacky.
Oh,
wacky.
we
I
need
like
a sound
wacky.
effect. The
Yeah.
what?
What, is this
We're
like
gonna get
a
a symbol under here.
It's like a 90s shock jock or
Yes.
80s shock jock radio show with like the horns, and
sure.
we'll pull it out. I like it. We can do that in post,
Beluga.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I'm going to ask you. So I realized that we screwed this up with Adam.
We did. And by that I mean
He
you
kind
did.
of blew it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you 4 rapid fire questions. Gretchen's going to ask you, what's your favorite
The
thing?
1
in the
and 9.
community?
Okay.
And then Matt is going to ask you.
To leave.
The 9. Yeah.
I have 4 and then a couple more.
4, 1, and 9.
4, 1, and 9. All right,
Okay.
here we go. Question number 1. What movie do they need to make a sequel to?
Well, I can't say Top Gun because they did. Oh boy.
They could make a third Top Gun as far as I'm concerned.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
Or, well, they've already done 3 Matrix. So, fourth one might
try.
be. I'm not sure what, how
I
did.
think that's right.
I don't know.
We'll stay with Top Gun.
Okay. Okay.
Matrices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually might be right.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank
Nice.
you. I spent some time with Adam Levine today. I feel smarter.
Yeah, I feel the opposite.
I was just watching and I feel smarter.
Yeah. What do you like most about your family? Let me ask you a different one.
That we all get along.
Yeah.
And that's very important, especially during the holidays. Do we have differences? Probably, but, I'm the youngest of 4. So, yeah. So we all get along.
What's your most treasured possession?
Well, since I like to collect stuff.
You don't or you do?
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
My treasured possession.
Autographed Blu-ray of Top Gun 2.
I do have a baseball with Pete Rose's autograph on it.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
When he was playing for the Phillies, actually my grandfather was down in Florida and picked it up.
Cool.
That's nice. Okay, that's good.
All right.
Pete Rose is a baseball player.
I didn't know that.
What's the most unusual food combination that you love?
I like a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich.
What?
What kind of bread?
Really?
Why was
It's
that
usually
better?
whatever's available, but usually it was on white when I was younger.
Peanut butter and mayonnaise.
And
So
some people will put banana, but just give me a peanut butter and mayonnaise. So I like to put chips in it. There you go.
Now I do agree with the chips on the sandwich, but okay. For the one of the 419 quiz is, what is your number 1 most favorite thing about the region?
I like the park system. I'm not just saying that, but
I'll
I
take it.
enjoy it.
You obviously use
It's
it.
nice to go to.
Yep. Yep.
And it's very relaxing. And going and watch, and I'm not sure what you call it, where you want to watch the birds. Like it,
Windows on Wildlife.
it is just, it's something over at Wildwood.
Yes. That's near and dear to me. My grandmother, who's my daughter's namesake, was a polio survivor. So we visited Wildwood frequently, and she couldn't really walk the trails. But so that's where she would go.
It is something, I go there before my runs, and when we're done running, we go in there and sit. I've seen turkeys, you see all different types of birds. We saw a big buck deer going
Cool.
through there, so it's like, it's impressive.
Very cool.
I love it.
All right, Matt.
All right, this is, and we won't count you down for
no.
words, yes. 9 words that describe the region to
You
you.
need someone to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Now I'm drawing a blank here. 9 words. I think people shouldn't underestimate our area and try to engage more in what we really have.
Good.
That's got to be 9 right there.
That's gotta be 9
That's
or
a great
10.
answer.
I think Gretchen counted underestimated as 2 words,
I did.
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
darn.
great.
Okay.
I think we did not underestimate Gretchen.
We estimated.
We
It was an
estimated.
appropriate estimation.
Yeah. Tim, thank you so much for
No,
the
thank
support.
you guys.
All right, we'll be right back with more of the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Witro Wealth Management.
WGTE Public Media's Educational Services Department provides outstanding programs, services, and resources to enhance learning outcomes for students, educators, and learners of all ages. WGTE's Educational Services Department teaches parents, caregivers, and educators how to utilize educational media, children's literature, and engaging activities to help prepare young children for a happy, healthy, and bright future. From PBS Kids programming specifically designed to support the development and creativity of young children to individualized lesson plans, standards-aligned curriculum, professional development classes, community events, and family fun movie nights right here at WGTE. Our Educational Services Department shares the tools you need for you and your little ones to feel like you belong. WGTE Public Media, where you belong.
Welcome back to the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
Great show.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Says us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Totally unbiased.
That's right.
Or self-review.
What did I just hear the other day? I always say, like, here's an interesting fact. And somebody responded with, why don't you let us decide if it's interesting?
Yeah. I think,
Let us tell you.
Yeah, I'll
it's
be the
interesting
judge
or
of
not.
that. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What, you okay?
That's a new gag. We're just going to slowly put it
Yeah,
down.
chairs
into-
get a little lower
That's
as
how
they
you know
go.
how long the show has progressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
It's like an hourglass.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Which
that.
is what I provide to the show.
What, Matt, for you, what was the kind of most interesting thing for you from today's show?
I don't know if it's the most interesting, but it is nice to banter and sort of talk about the mission of the show, as crazy as that sounds, right? So these are people who we've known a long time that we care about, and they deliver what we are prescribing to do, which is, it's nice to live in a small to middle-sized town for this reason. These are people whose bathrooms we use. These are people who oversee an institution that I take my kids to, right? And there are brilliant people who live here that are doing brilliant things, and usually the detractors of our region are us. But there's great stuff going on here.
Gretchen?
Sort of along the same lines, I think that what Adam is doing and his team and the board, and their commitment to the museum and the community's interaction with it is just remarkable.
And bearded dragon owner.
Bearded dragon owner.
I mean, you gotta love it. It will stick with me that Adam referred to the museum as a monument for innovation.
I agree.
And that is not the way that I,
That's right.
at my core, think about the museum. But when you hear him explain it,
I think it's a real testament to his leadership. You need a new HVA system. A lot of leaders would just say, all right, well, let's get the 20 million and let's just do that and we'll shut the things down. They're doing so much more than that. They're doing a complete reimagining of the entire way the museum is presented to the public.
But it's a reminder of the complication of that job, too,
Yeah.
as many jobs are, right? So it isn't just what the next acquisition, it's not just the next exhibit is. There's actually
A plan.
an old and retiring building that needs regular stuff to be maintained that we just take for granted.
yeah, and we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Tomorrow, it's Wellness Wednesday, presented by WorkSpring.
And we need it.
We hope you'll join us for that as well. It's the 419, powered by WGTE. I can say that.
WGTE.
Nailed it. It's
26.
only 4 letters.
Yeah.
2026, here we go. The 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.